Welcome back to another Puzzling Time video. Now last night I was looking at puzzles I've yet to review on the channel, and I was going to review the Meiji milk chocolate, and after opening this up I realised it was a classic Pentominoes puzzle. Now I am going to review this soon, but I thought what I'd do today instead is to look at how I would go about solving puzzles like this. Now when I'm solving packing puzzles, 2D packing puzzles, not the fancy 3D ones or the ones that have spaces and gaps in them like the classic US Arca puzzles, I take my pieces and I separate them into groups. This is a nice, cheap, simple puzzle where I've got to place all these pieces into the hexagon with no gaps. And if you look at the pieces, there are some awkward looking pieces. So the awkward looking pieces I put to one side. That's pretty awkward, that's pretty awkward. The easy pieces I'll put on the other side. And I guess we kind of have these three that are maybe closer to being awkward, but not really too bad, especially this one. Now, I call these awkward pieces because of the way they look, but actually they're easier to put into the puzzle. For example, this piece here, I know straight away can't go in this orientation because of the gap. So it's got limitations. And when you've got limitations on pieces, they're actually easier to put into the puzzle than, say, this piece initially. So at the beginning, I would have more restrictions on this piece, it's easy to put in, less restrictions on this piece. However, these smaller, simpler pieces, their orientation can change, they're easier to kind of flip round, maneuver, take in and out. So those pieces I want to save to the end. And I want to predominantly try and start with these awkward pieces. So if I was to put these awkward pieces in, there's an awkward piece. I'll try and put another awkward piece in like this, and hopefully I'll get to the stage where I've got my awkward pieces, or most of my awkward pieces in, and I'm left with the easier pieces here on the left hand side. I might not get them all in straight away, but it's a good place to start. So let's say we've got, I'm trying to get them all in straight away. These pieces in here. Now I'm left with my easy pieces. That has to go there. There's a long piece there. And we haven't quite nailed this straight away. But there we go. Because these three pieces are very small, very simple, they're easier to move around. And having those small pieces or easier looking pieces left at the end also allows me to see the variations a lot easier. It's harder to see, gaps like this or leave gaps like this at the end. Now that's a very simple puzzle and there's lots of solutions to that. So let's go on to a classic Pentominoes. Not the Meiji one, but this high-Q hexed version. I'm just going to zoom the video out 1 second. So this is the Peter Pan Playthings high-Q hexed puzzle, which is just their version of Pentominoes. And their idea is to just take all these pieces and place them into the box. They're not giving you any other challenges. I'm going to take out the awkward pieces and put them on the left-hand side, and take out the simpler pieces, the easy pieces, and put them on the right hand side. There are a few pieces, as always, that you can debate whether they're simple or not. So we can kind of put them somewhere in between or lower down. And I want to start by trying to find a very awkward piece. Now this cross is awkward because it doesn't fit into a corner. The only way of getting this shape into a corner would be by using another awkward piece. And we can see here I've used 2 awkward pieces to make a larger, simpler shape. I want to carry on kind of putting these awkward pieces into the puzzle. And after I've got as many of these awkward pieces in as possible, I can then try and solve this puzzle by putting in the easier pieces. Now, there's lots of solutions to Pentominoes. See if we can stumble across one straight away. Doesn't seem to be a solution there. Let's take out some of these easier pieces and try and keep the awkward ones in. Just move them around a little bit. And there's a solution straight away. It's much easier to finish with these easier pieces at the end. It's easier to visualize how I can orientate these 2 pieces than it is to visualizing how I would orientate these 2 pieces together. And it's that orientation at the end that can be quite difficult to see. Straight away left with this gap here, taking 3 pieces out, 3 relatively awkward pieces. You know, it could be difficult to work out even 2 pieces exactly how they go. If I was taking out 3 simpler pieces, then straight away we can see, well, I'm restricted with the simpler pieces, remember that? But not as restricted as I am with the difficult pieces. It's easier to change their orientations. So that's High IQ Hex. It's a good puzzle. It's from the 80s. It still holds up today as being quite durable and useful. So it's always worth having a nice Pentominoes puzzle in your collection, especially if you're like me with someone young in the house who likes to play with the puzzles. It's good to have some cheap plastic puzzles that they're not going to ruin. So next I will look at that Beijing milk chocolate. It's a little bit different than normal Pentominoes, and we'll see how that holds up in our next video. If you enjoyed this video, if you found these tips and tricks useful, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.